This plot of land in West Roseville along Phillip Road is quite the talk of the town lately. That massive green field has sat empty for now. An industrial park is being proposed, and many people here, they just bought their homes. Now, this industrial park would be made up of about 15 buildings, totaling to over 2 million square feet. And just to put that into perspective, that would be like having about 16 Costco's next door. As you can imagine, most neighbors that we spoke to are not happy about it. In fact, they started a grassroots movement to educate their neighbors on what is being proposed.
We heard Roseville so many times. Many years ago, that Roseville already was on the map, the best place to move, quiet, nice people, and we agree, and that's what we found.
We haven't been disappointed. We've been really happy we located here, but we want to retire here, and we want to stay in our home. And at this point in time, I don't know if I would have bought there if I knew this was coming.
How are you feeling about the industrial park coming into your area?
I'm not excited about the effects that it's going to bring to the area, especially with the air pollution, the effects that the trucks will have on the area. I'm not a fan of how it's backed up to the Winding Creek residents. As a new homeowner there, I feel kind of blindsided by this announcement.
Why do you say you feel blindsided?
I don't recall seeing anything in the disclosures when we were closing on our home mentioning that this was going to happen, that there's going to be industrial park. I specifically remember my husband asking what's this plot going to be? And I feel like the salespeople just kind of gave a vague answer, oh, it's either going to be commercial or more housing out there.
How long have you been living here?
A little bit over a year and 3 months.
So the industrial park would literally be on the other side of your wall right here, the other side of your fence.
I will have a wall right here, height wall. That's what I can see in the documents.
So you are a realtor in the area. This is something that you've really been looking at and following closely. What are some of the major concerns for you?
As a realtor, first of all, beyond a realtor, as just a neighbor, I am very concerned for the health and welfare of my neighbors. As a realtor, I'm concerned about property values. And we do have people that are still interested in coming to this area, clients. What do I tell them? I have to disclose what I know. So I am concerned about that. I feel trapped because, again, if the values go down, how do any of us make a move somewhere else? It's scary. So, and then long-term effects. We may not be, we're older, so we may not be here long enough to feel the long-term effects, but the children in this area growing up with their families, very, very different story for them and very much of concern.
I was confused, but more than confusion, I was kind of disappointed. And to know that what's going to happen with the wildlife here.
We experienced the growth that Tracy had. It was just incredible and continues to grow. And that's why we have traffic issues and all that. We wanted to get away from that.
What's the biggest issue for you?
For sure about the environmental impacts, because the trucking routes are going to be along Blue Oaks and Westbrook Boulevards, and there's kids walking on those streets every day.
Just with the emissions of the trucks, all the different things, especially the diesel, that's going to create more health hazards. And, being a cancer patient, both of us, we are concerned about that. And I think, I think about the people before anything else, before they really do that. And if they need to make it, go closer to a freeway where there's no civilization there. And I think that would be the best thing to do.
All the families coming here with little kids or planning to have a family, the impact. So in 10 years, these families, they're going to have an issue with this industrial. That's what we are concerned, pure greed. The greed is more powerful sometimes than the common sense. In this project, I think common sense is out the door on many things.
This project initially goes back to the feasibility study in 2006. The current general land use for the property, public land use for the property was started then in terms of the jobs that were planned, career center, career jobs, education, services like medical, dental, all of that. That was all part of that plan. How have we gotten so far away from that? It's shocking. So now we have this industrial plan. The land is not zoned industrial. It would require a change to do that.
You can look at the environmental impact report. It's just tons of traffic. We moved to the edge of the city because of the open space. It's Winding Creek, it's not Industrial Creek. Whoever is planning this is is either being incompetent or just plain malicious, trying to put an industrial site next to a residential site.
In a dream world, what would you like to see happen and be done with the land?
Oh, that's such a good question because there's so much potential, right? You know, for me, I would love to see something that's very like recreational. For me, with our family, we'd love to have something that would have like a splash pad or like a big park or things like that. Let's do homework. Let's do our research and really learn about this and see what people want to do with it or what others have to say about it.
At the end of the day, I'm realistic, so maybe something, a library, some other city-owned facilities for the good of the community. Parks and recreation, that's good. Police station, fire station. There are many things that the city can do with the land.
I'd like to see more like grocery stores. I would like to see, more parks, stuff for, activity stuff for the families, because there's a lot of young families here.
The city needs to really think about what they're doing to others.
I am not opposed to development, commercial development, not opposed to growth in this area. It's needed, it's expected. We have very few resources in terms of commercial developments that have already been built. Raley's is probably the most recent, and we want more of that. And they bring jobs to the community. It's clean development. It doesn't impact the environment the way an industrial park would. I have been a very strong advocate for the city of Roseville since moving here. I have been so impressed with their city planning, the attention and care they give to new developments going in, mostly residential, and what they build around them. They really, really seem to care. They plan schools, walking trails, parks. They really seem to care and really take the people, the residents, to heart. This one feels like we've been thrown under the bus, and numerous people have told me that. They feel like they've turned us aside. I think the fight is still there and worth having. I do think we can make a difference.
Of course, for this story, we took these residents' concerns to the city of Roseville. We received a 4.5-page email response from the city today. And the first thing that the city told us was, quote, no business uses or project details have been decided at this time. The proposed project is in very early stages of the public process, which is why residents are learning about it. They also said, quote, this site has long been envisioned for non-residential development. Previous studies were commissioned by the city in the mid-2000s to evaluate potential feasibility of uses ranging from higher education to business park/job center, which could include a range of industrial uses, including innovation, research and development, light-duty manufacturing, warehousing, distribution, or office. Now, there was a study in 2006, a case study that residents cite, and they say that the area could have included a daycare, dental office, post office, athletic club, and much more commercial businesses. And they say that, and the city responded to us in part saying that what was said initially in that 2006 case study was intended to determine what might be possible, and what was described was not an approved land use plan. And a few residents also expressed concerns about how the developer Panattoni was picked for this project. So, of course, we asked that question too. The city says that the developer Panattoni approached the city of Roseville about purchasing the vacant land, and that they entered into an exclusive right to negotiate in November of 2020. And city council approved a purchasing agreement in October of 2022. And the city tells us that since 2006, quote, no other commercial developer had expressed a desire to purchase the property. Now, the city is encouraging the project applicants to hold neighborhood meetings about the project to communicate with landowners. So if you are interested, take a look at your screen right now. A meeting with the West Park Fitiment Farms and Creekview Neighborhood Associations will be held on April 12th at 6:30 p.m. That's at St. John's Church. We also want to note that public comment period for the draft report, it was extended a month. So you have until 5 p.m. on April 21st to submit all of your thoughts. And again, I know that this is a lot of information, so if you have any questions, you can go straight to our website. We have the extended info on abc10.com/to-the-point. And we also know that there are a lot of opinions about the proposed industrial park. We want to hear from you. You can reach out to me and the team at abc10.com. You can also scan the QR code on your phone right now, or you can also send us a text as always.